Hello and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon video with me, Bubblebox, Vulcan from Vulcan HD Gaming. Please check his description in the link, his link rather, in the description below, and of course Silveraptor as we head on and do the BLUFOR deck in the Bubble and Silver and Vulcan Do deck series. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello.
So we're going to start off with, I think, Silveraptor. You're going to start off and we're going to have a look at what you've got for your logistics in your BLUFOR deck.
Yeah, and I just want to say, when I first wanted to do a BLUFOR deck at the very start of me playing this game, I found it very daunting from the number of units available. So I thought doing the Do deck series with you, seeing all the units from all the different nations, it would actually make it easier. And first off, it did. It did make it a lot easier what units I wanted. And at the same time, it made it harder because I didn't realize the number of those units were prototypes. So in every single tab, there was like a unit I wanted that I couldn't get because of prototypes. So it was still kind of difficult to make this deck.
Yeah, I didn't find it too bad. I mean, I just went in and chose what I thought, rather than go through everything, I just kind of, whatever caught my eye, gone for really quite high class units in my deck. But yeah.
All right.
So do you want to head off? Yeah.
All right. Well, first off, my typical, I got a fob, and of course I got an American fob because I'm an American. So, you know, I put a lot of thought into that.
Okay.
The next thing I got for supply is I got the MAT TRSP cargo helicopter from the West Germans, the large 3,700 liter supply. And then I got some American hemps for to move supply on the ground back and forth due to the fact that they can also carry a lot of supply.
Cool. And that's it, yeah?
That's it for my supply. I also have a CV, the FV511 Warrior, British, and command vehicle, and the reason why is that this was really the only BLUFOR with an autocannon that could defend itself, so I kind of wanted it.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. Bit expensive, but pretty nice. And What about Vulcan? What have you got in your logistics, Vulcan?
Well, for me, this time round, I didn't take a fob, and the reason being was that as a BLUFOR deck, or like as a overall deck for one side, we only have 50 activation points, and I really needed to save the points where I normally take 2 CVs. So instead of dropping a CV and having the fob, I decided to drop the fob and have 2 CVs. So first of all, I've got the HQ section in the Lynx AH7, they're the British Command Infantry. And then I also have the Fuchs Fufu, which is the German command vehicle, which has 105 km/h off-road and is amphibious. Really good versatile unit for getting across rivers into places that you wouldn't expect. Also the reason that I have the command infantry and helicopters. Then I do have the CH-53s, but I have the American variant, and I also have the hemps.
Yeah, cool. And I agree about the BLUFOR deck lacking in points, so you've got to be really careful what you spend your points on, especially if you end up in a kind of a longish game. You might even run out of units.
Right. My thought of getting the fob was to resupply the units more, trying to more recycle the units to keep from losing them and keeping them at full strength was my thought for the fob, but yeah.
Yeah, I've got a fob and I've got the Super Chinook helicopters, just gone for that little bit more flexibility. Got the 4 rather than the 3 with the bigger helicopter. And I've got my 5 hemps, of course. Got to go for the hemps as far as I'm concerned. And I've got the HQ section in the Lynx. I've got mine in the Lynx AH7s with the little rocket pods as well. So that's my logistics. So moving on to the infantry. And what have you got for your infantry then, Vulcan?
Okay, so first of all for my infantry, I have the Jaegers and Fuchs, and these are some of the most cost-effective infantry in the game. They're 10 points, and they come with a 10-point APC, and they both the APC and the infantry share the MG3, which is an incredibly good machine gun for these squads. Also, they have the G3A2, which is 40% accurate for a 10-point squad, which is really nice. Also have a pretty decent AT weapon, so really good value for money squad.
I also got Jaegers. I just got them in the 5-point trucks of death.
I also have the Panzer Grenadiers. I've got them in Marder 1s. Another really cost-effective squad. Panzer Grenadiers are the best shock infantry I think you can get on the BLUFOR side, in my opinion. They do have an upgraded G302 with the 60% accuracy, the CQC version of the MG3, which makes them really good for assaulting, and of course the Marder 1 APC. Such a brilliant APC with the 20mm autocannon is really, really powerful, with 3 front armor as well for only 15 points. So another really cost-effective squad.
Yeah, I agree. 15 points. Can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah.
I started scrolling down my list and then I realized, oh wait, there's a search bar here.
Yeah.
So
if you can spell Yaga, yeah.
Moving on, I've got the FSK. These are my only elite infantry squad. They have the 60% accuracy C7 with the Eric's 60% accurate missile, a 25 AP power. So basically this would be my squad for taking out tanks that come close to towns. They are also going to hold their own because they have the CQC version of the MG3, something that I really look for in Wargame. It's always been a really, really strong machine gun. And of course with their elite training, they are going to do well. Then finally...
Yeah, and the Eric's is amazing.
Yeah,
that Eric's, if they get close enough, that is.
Finally, I have the small in the LVTP-7A1. And this is, again, a value for money kind of thing. I really like the small squads because they have the 2 HE power on those rockets, and they also have the 70% accuracy, which is just great at sniping tanks in like forests and so on. Also great for the small squads to sit in towns and hit infantry that are coming towards you, APCs, stuff like that. They can really slow down pushes very effectively. They are shock trained, so again, that makes them even better. And then you do get the LVTP-7A1 with the grenade launcher, which is an incredibly powerful amphibious like vehicle that comes with them, and just really, really strong with the 1,225 meter on that grenade launcher. That range is just too good. So really like that APC, and that's what I've got.
I got the exact same thing for the exact same reasons.
What, the s'mores?
Yeah, the smallest and the Jaegers, but I got them in, like I said, the
Cool. And did you get anything else apart from the Jaegers and the s'mores?
Yes, I did.
What else have you got then?
I just thought when I was designing this deck, more on multi-roll, on having units be able to do multiple things at once. So I, of course, got 2 stacks of SAS with M16 rifles, stingers, and anti-tank weapons. They basically can do it all. This is
they can do it all apart from against other good infantry, but they're decent.
Yeah, so I got these as basically my anti-air infantry, but they can also, take on tanks and other infantry to an extent. That's why I kind of got them in Lynx AH1s, just trying to cut down on the price that they have. And then also I got some U.S. Marines and LVTP 7A1s as well. Basically, these will be partnered with the SMAs and Jaegers for the ground force. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got kind of half and half of what you guys have got, really. I got Panzer Grenadiers because I do really like these. These are really nice all-round infantry squad for not too much money, 20 points. And I got mine in Marder 1s as well, as Vulcan's already gone over. But I got 2 sets of them. Now, I was thinking about getting the s'mores instead of my second Panzer Grenadier, but I went for the second Panzer Grenadiers card in the end, both of them in Marder 1. So they're going to be my main infantry. And I also went for the SAS as my kind of all-round and extra AA units as well. Again, as we've said, points are hard to come by in this deck, so I got these SAS as a kind of a dual role manpad and infantry stroke APC fighting unit that can move fast as well. However, I've also gone, because these the Swedish infantry are pretty damn good, I've gone for the PVGRP RBS 56 in STRFs. I got them partially because I wanted a decent anti-tank weapon, and the STRF trucks are pretty good against kind of helicopters, other ground units as well. So yeah, that's my infantry. 4 cards.
Cool. So
So if we move on to the support, I think Silver, what have you got for your support?
Like I said, for multi-role, first thing I grabbed, which I was glad was not prototype,
User
was
left your
the
channel.
ADATs the Canadians have.
Oh yeah.
Anti-tank, anti-helicopter, very good range, non-radar. The only problem is it's a bit guided, but most aircraft anti-air things are guided as well.
Yeah, I find the biggest problem with this is just the lack of armor, really. I know it's an anti-air unit, but it's quite expensive for 90 points, and if it gets artillery, then you regret
Right.
getting it sometimes.
Yeah, but it's got pretty good range. I also got some Chaparrals, the 70-point variant, because these are also very good against helicopters.
Yeah, they're a really, really nice unit. Yeah, cool.
And for further supplement, I got the iHawk Pips, the American version, because of their incredible range against helicopters and aircraft, so they'll be able to shoot down any pesky planes that come around.
Yep, so you got some nice, all your, pretty nice long-range anti-air units for against planes and helicopters.
And I finally got one artillery piece. I got the 155 SP Japanese artillery. It's 60 points. It has a wide dispersion, but it has 7 HE power, and I bought 7 HE power for 60 points, and I can bring in 6 of them. This would be pretty good for suppressing an area.
Unusual choice, but I guess they've got 42 rounds, so you're not going to be sucking on your fob too badly with these things. Yeah.
Right.
What was that unit?
The 155 SP Japanese artillery, 60 point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the best unit in the world, but I guess whatever floats your boat.
Okay, for me, I have the 8 K263s. These are basically PVADs, but the South Korean variant. And yeah, they just really, they're an upgrade from the PVADs, which is really strange, I found. But they cost the same, I think. So you get, I think it's more accuracy.
Really? I thought they were the same. You're actually better. Okay.
If I just quickly check, I think they are better. I can't find the other ones now. Hang on.
Yeah, there's such a lot of units to scroll through, but I will take your word for it on that one for sure. They are amphibious as well.
Oh, that's it. Okay, that's the difference. They have more armor and they are faster for the same price. So that's really worth it, obviously. Yeah,
that's probably another mistake by Eugen, but we'll let them off.
And then I have the iHawk Pip 3s, of course.
Yeah.
Best anti-air, for actual aircraft. And then I have the Crotals. These are just epic, fast-moving,
fast-firing.
Fast-firing anti-helicopter AA, really. 60% accuracy and 6 HE power, going to take care of helicopters really easily for me.
Yep.
Then I have some tracked rapiers, and the reason I brought tracked rapiers in is because they are really the sort of they're really good weapons for forest, hiding in forests. They aren't radar, so they can't get targeted, but they fire really quickly, and they have 8 missiles with 5 HE power, so it's like 2-shot kills on basically most aircraft and helicopters, of course. Obviously, the aircraft have to fly pretty much right over it in order for it to fire, but it's still got a pretty decent range against helicopters as well. So really nice unit, in my opinion, just because of its fire rate mainly.
Yeah, I rarely see these actually in game, apart from if people have got British decks, to be honest.
Yeah,
they've got a nice range against helis. Yeah, for sure.
Then finally, I have the Panzermortars M113s, and these are the only BLUFOR mortars with 5 HE power. So, the HS30 also has 5 HE power, but I prefer to have the extra speed and the amphibious APC with the mortar for 10 points more. So that's why I have the M113.
All right.
Okay, cool. Silver. What have you got?
I told you what I got.
You've had you already. Okay, I'll cut that bit out. What have I got? You said the Hawk Pips are the best AA radar or best aircraft AA in the game. For some reason, I've got Noah's. I don't know why I've picked those now. I guess I'll keep them. They're really slow to move, but I'm going to keep them. I don't know why I chose them, but I've got them anyway for my radar. I've got the Crow.
They are 10 points cheaper than the Hawk Pips.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I've got Crow Towels anyway, so who needs Noahs when you've got Crow Towels? I've got Crow Towels.
Right.
And I've also got the K242 mortars for my mortars. Again, don't know why I got those over anything else. I think I got them because they're a bit amphibious and they're quite fast to move around as well. So you can kind of get them out of the way quickly once you've fired them. And I've also got 2 Mars, which I can help you guys out with in game. So I've got those in case we see any sort of TATUs sulking around anywhere.
Yeah, I was tempted to bring in a unit of Mars, but then I was like, in this kind of deck, if it was like, normally when you build like a BLUFOR or REDFOR deck, you build them for like 1v1 sort of scenario. And for me, like mortars are a lot more useful in that kind of situation rather than having the AP power artillery, but it's still really, really good.
Yeah, I did actually choose those and mortars. It does leave me a little bit lacking in the AA department, especially if I lose some of my AA. Got the SAS as well, and I've got some aircraft coming up. But yeah, you're right. Sure. So let's move on to the tanks. Silver, I think, is it you first on the tanks?
No, I was first.
It'll be me first.
Vulcan. Oh, I do apologise. Vulcan, what have you got for your tanks?
I've got, first of all, the Challenger 1 Mark III.
I thought you might have.
Yes.
Very, very much because I'm patriotic, but also because it's cheaper than the Kaiomarishiki, but it has a better gun. Like, in my opinion, the Challenger is well, actually, the gun's not better, but it's just like it seems that the tank is better in general, in my opinion, for the kind of fighting that you come up against in these kind of games. You get 4 HE power on the cannon compared to the 3 of the Kaiomarishiki, so it makes it instantly better against infantry. You also get a little bit more armor, so like side armor's improved, which again makes it good for supporting heavy pushes into enclosed areas like between towns or in forests and that kind of stuff. So it becomes much more of a multi-role tank, which is much better in these kinds of situations where you don't have many points to work with.
Exactly.
So that's why I've got the Challenger 1.
I think the Kaiomarishiki is actually faster off-road is the only difference.
Yeah, it's faster and less armored on the side and rear, but in general it's yeah, the Kaiomarishiki is still a good choice, but the Challenger 1 Mark III took my fancy in this case. For my next tank, I have the K1. It's basically a better M11 IP.
Yes.
Or M1 IP. So, yeah, the K1, 2,275 meter range on its cannon for 85 points with 60% accuracy. Really, really strong tank. 16 AP power, 3 HE power. So really, really good medium support tank with 17 front armor as well, which is really, really strong for its cost. If you think the Challenger 1 Mark III has 20 front armor for 155 points and the K1 has 17, which is only 3 less for 85 points, then, you're laughing, really. And it's also got 70 kilometer per hour speed with 50% stabilizer. So it's just a really, really strong tank for its price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the best medium tanks in the game for sure.
Then for some follow-up range damage, I've got the Nanoyon Shiki E's. These have 75% accuracy and 55% stabilizer with 16 AP power and 3 HE power, with the 2,275 meter range for only 50 points. They obviously lack in the armor department in order to make up for that cost. You've only got 6 front armor and 3 side armor, but you are going to be keeping these at range in order to do the most damage. But these are very much the sort of fire support role as you are pushing in, and they will sit at the backside, whereas you could probably move up your K1s and Challengers with the push, whereas these guys would have to stay back in order to avoid ATGMs and so on. And then finally, I have the STRV 102R. This is like my cheapest tank. Only costs 35 points, but has 50% accuracy. Another really good tank for assaulting, mainly because it has 9 front armor, and just a really good value for money tank because it has strong armor and a strong gun for its price. It's obviously moving really slow, but in general, really, really good.
Cool.
Okay.
So you got quite a lot of armor for the BLUFOR deck then. That's a lot
Yes,
of
indeed. But all of it is veteran. I have it all
Right.
veteran, or
Okay.
hardened, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried when you went for the big challenges at the start. You weren't going to have much armor, but I was proved wrong. I was proved wrong. So, Silver, what have you gone for?
I also, well, I kind of hate the points of the American tanks because I haven't gotten a single American tank like Vulcan. But I got the Challenger 1 Mark III, very good heavy tank. And then to supplement it up, I kind of went for heavy, medium, and light-ish medium tanks. My medium tank is the Leopard 2A1. Pretty good tank, good front armor, good AP power, long range. So that's a supplement to the Challenger 1 Mark III. I also got the K1s because I like Vulcan said, they are just a better M1 IEP for 5 points more to have a better gun.
Yeah.
And then
Cool.
I also saw for tank defensive line, I got the STRV 103C, the Swedish unit, because of its small size and its high rate of fire. It's good for deflecting any hard pushes the enemy might throw at you.
Yeah, so you've kind of both gone for kind of a similar strategy there, kind of a lot of tanks. I haven't got a lot of tanks. I've only got 2 cards of tanks. Now I've gone for the Leopards for my sort of heavy tank. I've gone for the Leopard 2A4. I chose this over one of the sort of top range tanks just because I got like an extra one really. So I could have got 3 of the heavies or I could have got 4 of these, which are still fairly decent tanks, I think. And then for my second tank, I've actually, and this is going to be a bit controversial, I've gone for the AMX 30B2 Brennus, mainly for its combo of an pretty decent main gun. It's got the long range, it's got 60% accuracy, and it's got 16 AP power, but it's also got that auto cannon that can shoot at helicopters and ground units. It does lack armor though. For a 65 point tank, it does lack a bit of armor, but it's pretty nippy and can get around the board.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all my tanks. I'm a bit weak in the tank department.
Just remember, it can't fire its autocannon and main gun at the same time.
Right, can it not?
It cannot. I've tried it out.
Really? Okay, I've learned something new
Also,
every day.
another problem is that it doesn't have a stabilizer, so its main gun is kind of useless with its speed.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
No fire its autocannon on the move at 5%
I'm depressed.
stabilizer.
I'm depressed now. Okay, fine. I'll just attack move it. Actually, if I attack move it, it fires its main gun, then it's not going to be able to fire its autocannon. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. The thing is with like the AMXs, they used to be really good, but now they're just not very good because you got that 65 points and you got the terrible armor, and they just get picked off so easily.
I want to get the K1s now.
Especially if you're going to go into the like auto cannon range, then you're in big trouble.
You could go
Yeah,
ahead
I'm-
and get the K1s to supplement.
Yeah,
They are a good tank.
I'm going to be really naughty. This is quite an old deck I'm using, so I'm going to swap it out for the K1s. I'm afraid I'm going to be really naughty. There we go. That's a bit of a cheat there. Okay, moving on. Reconnaissance. Fire away, whoever's turn it is to start on the reconnaissance.
Go on, so
Okay. First off, for air reconnaissance, I actually got the Kiowa, the American anti-tank chopper. Exceptional optics, has 4 Hellfire missiles, able to just keep an eye out at the start of the game.
Okay, quite expensive, but yeah.
Yeah. I then got the M3A2 Bradley, the more expensive Bradley as well. Very good optics, can sit in the tree line, shoot with its TOW-2 missiles, and also provide a little bit of infantry ground support at pretty decent range.
Yep.
And then finally, I got some JSDF Rangers in Chugata trucks. Basically, they have a sniper rifle, submachine gun. They're kind of good. This is kind of my infantry recon. A little bit of front line, but at the same time, a little bit back with the sniper rifle, just to kind of supplement my infantry push.
Yeah, they're shock trained and there's 10 in the squad, so they're not too shabby, are they, really, I suppose, as an infantry squad?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
decent.
Yep, cool. Is that it?
That's it.
Cool.
Well, For me, for my helicopter, I've actually got the AH-1J Cobra. And for me, this was a more easy choice than taking the Kiowas, for example, or any other helicopter. The only other recon helicopter I was thinking of getting would be the AS-350s because they have 6 health and they're good. They're good at their job. They have the very good recon. Whereas the AH-1J Cobra is 10. Well, it's the same points as the AS-350s, but it comes fully armed with the grenade launcher, the 70mm rockets, which has 38 of, and the FFAR rockets, which it has 14 of. And I just find this really, really good for it only has good recon, but when it's in the air, it can see loads. Like the difference between having a good recon on the ground and a good recon in the air is like completely different. So with this AH-1J Cobra, it can really take care of itself. It can take out units it spots by itself, and I think that just makes it really, really versatile and worth having.
Cool.
Then moving on, I've got the Rangers. I've got these because they are a shock infantry, 10-man squad with the very good recon capabilities. These would be the sort of infantry that I'd push up with my main infantry, like the Panzergrenadiers and so on, in order to provide their recon. They have the M240 with the 875 meter range, which is incredibly good because what it means is they can fire out of range of normal MGs.
Right.
It's like 100 range more, so they open up beforehand, and because they're shock infantry, they get the suppression down quicker. That makes them really, really strong.
Comparing them to my Rangers, they are kind of better in that regard. I'm
but the DMR on the JSDF is longer range, I think even more.
Yeah, it is. I guess I'll just leave them and use them as like a sniper.
Then, moving on, I do have a separate sniper squad. Now, you guys, as I've been doing the deck videos with you, have converted me to a sniper person because I've just been playing games and these sniper squads just sit in my face and I don't know they're there until a tank rolls by them and they're like, what the hell is that doing there? And so I've got a Marine Jaeger squad with the AG-3 and actually, obviously, just the sniper squad. The reason you have them, though, is because they are very small and they have the very good optics, so they don't get spotted very easily at all, and you can sneak them up into locations that the enemy wouldn't expect. So
Yeah.
then finally I have the SPPZ Lux, which is probably one of my favorite all-time recon vehicles, all the way back from European Escalation. This thing holds its own. It's got the same gun as the Marder's, so it's just really, really strong recon unit. I've only got the 25.1 as opposed to the 40.1 because you get more of them, but I've got these actually hardened on my deck, so I only have 8 of them, but they have a more accurate autocannon, obviously, and I just find them really great for supporting other units as you push. Really cheap and really powerful for their price.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, really cheap. Yeah, cool.
So that's all my recon.
What have I got? Well, I've got the AHJ Cobras now. I'll just swap them out for the crappy one that I had previously when I saw they were the same price. So I've now got the AH1J Cobra. I've also got the Marine Jaegers as well for their exceptional stealth and their ability to just not be seen and get really close to the enemy. I've got some Commando Paras as my recon squad, infantry squad. Now, these are pretty similar to the ones that Vulcan's got, and they've also got a ground range of 875 on their machine gun as well. So pretty much identical stats, I think, just a different unit. Got them in VABs, though, with a little autocannon on their VAB as well.
Yep.
The T. And then finally, I've gone for a kind of medium-priced truck, the Ferret, the FV712 Ferret. Now, I know it might be a bit controversial because the accuracy isn't amazing on these, but these swing fire missiles, if they do hit, they're very powerful. And I know it might not be the best to have, fighting units as your recon units, as primary fighting units, but if they're sitting somewhere and your tanks are kind of having to pull back, they can take a couple of shots at the advancing units to try to slow them down or something like that. Anyway, they're a decent unit to sit in a tree somewhere and snipe with their swing fire missiles.
Yeah, the only trouble with these is that they are going to give away their position if you forget to turn them off.
Sure. And that's it. That's my recon. So
Alright.
moving on to the wonderful vehicles. Has anyone got any vehicles?
Yes.
Well,
What you got?
I've got the Centurion Aviary. That's all I've got. I just think it's a really good infantry support unit. Great for pushing into towns with its 8 HE power. Just incredibly powerful. 2,450 meter range. Can sit out of the way. Just fire plenty of rounds at the enemy and makes a hell of a difference when you're pushing into infantry.
Mm-hmm.
It does, and I've got the same. I've just got that as well. That's all I've got. Centurion Avra.
I actually got the American variant of
course.
CEV, and that's because actually it's 5 points more, but also has slightly better than the Avri. It has one more front armor. It's slightly faster and a bit more autonomy. One thing I found about these things is that they kind of run out of fuel pretty fast. So I just thought a little bit of extra armor, a little extra range with an M2 Browning machine gun, and all that made it worth the 5 extra points.
Yeah, you always have to go one better in America. But you have got
5
us.
points more though. Boom.
It costs. Yeah, they all cost more. They all cost more in America. But they've got that funny shovel on the front, so God knows how they actually go faster with that thing stuck on the front. I'm sure.
Oh, it
But,
can
yeah.
it can be raised and lowered in order to push it out of the
Yeah,
way.
it must have had a lot of weight though, surely. But anyway, that's the way it is. So let's move on to the helis then. What have you got for your helis?
I got the Gazelle Celtics for infrared. They're long-range infrared missiles, very good to go toe-to-toe with any REDFOR long-range infrared helicopters as well.
Yeah.
Very good value. And then finally, I got supplemented by the AH-64A Apache for anti-tank and infantry support.
Yep.
Nice.
I've only got the Apache. I haven't really got any other helicopters. I didn't take the Celtics or like the Super Cobras. I was thinking of taking the Super Cobras actually because they have the 2,800 meter AA, but like the Celtics just get shot down so easily. Only 4 strength just makes them horrific sometimes, but there we go. Like if you compare it to the Z9A TY90 of the Chinese, it has 6 health, so it takes 2 missiles from a Celtic to shoot it down, whereas with the Z9A only has to shoot 1 rocket to shoot a Celtic down, so it makes them really inefficient.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I have got the Apache as well, the big Apache, 130 points, really expensive, but an awesome helicopter.
Yeah, you just got to have those Hellfire
missiles. Yeah, eight of them, and they fire reasonably rapidly as well. And I've actually got the Super Cobras as well. So got a TOW2 missiles and the
Super
A9M as well.
Cobras
So I got those.
seem better because they have 6 strength and they have the range. Like
Yeah.
the 2,800
They lack the number of
range
missiles.
really
but,
does catch out both aircraft and like 3,850 meter range versus aircraft is pretty huge.
Yeah.
Are you guys
Okay.
trying to convince me to switch over?
It's up to you. They are from America. So yeah, you know. Oh, is that it for the helis then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the aircraft. Got some awesome aircraft
Okay.
in the BLUFOR. If you've got any points left, go for it.
Well, I have 4 cards of aircraft because
Excellent.
Me too.
We're all going to give away
saving.
some massive points with our aircraft, aren't we,
Yeah.
in games? But let's go. Let's see what you got.
So I was really, really stuck when it came to the Seed aircraft. I went for the Sea Harrier FA2, and the reason being it has the most accurate anti-radar missile. So generally what happens to Seed aircraft is when they miss, they get shot down. And in this case, with 70% accuracy and the 70% stabilizer, it's much less likely to get shot down because it will always hit its target pretty much. And that's what I'm going to rely on in this case. The other obvious choice is the Tornado ECR, but you only get one of them. It does have a longer range, so it can sit further away. In general, I was really going for the fact that the Sea Harriers could hit their targets, for sure.
They are a lot slower than most aircraft, though.
Yeah, they are only 750 kilometers per hour speed, which might make them suffer, but again, the missiles still travel pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for my anti-air, my air superiority fighter, I have the F-16 C Block 52. These have the fire and forget AMRAAM missiles. They also have, obviously, fire and forget infrared missiles. They 1,000 kilometer per hour speed with 40% ECM. You get 2 of them again, mainly for availability. I got these over anything else because I wanted to have 2, so that I could throw more away. But yeah. I just think they're a really good aircraft for their cost. The other choice I was maybe thinking about was the F-15C, but again, you only get one of them, but it is really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then for my bomber, I've got the F-15D Eagle, and the reason I've got the Eagle instead of the F-111C is because the Eagle actually has ECM. It has 40% ECM, 1,000 kilometer per hour speed, still 1,000 kilogram bombs, but only 4 of them instead of 8. Still really, really effective, and can shoot down other aircraft in certain situations. You know, it has got the AIM-9M there to help it out if it needs it. But either way, yeah, a generally pretty good aircraft because of those big bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll kill anything underneath it if you can just get it to the enemy and get it back out again is the biggest problem. But if it does drop, it's going to kill anything that it hits.
Yeah, it's a lot more likely to survive than the Aardvark.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yep.
Then for my napalm, I've got the Phantom 2. Easily, in my opinion, the best napalm bomber in BLUFOR. Has 8 340 kilogram napalm bombs, can literally napalm an entire road. The only trouble with this aircraft is it spends a lot of time over target. Like in terms of when it's dropping its bombs, it does take a while before it like sort of takes off and gets out of there, which does leave it prone to getting shot down, but still has 30% ECM and 900 kilometer per hour speed, so it's not going to stick around too long, but in general stays around its target longer than usual.
Yep.
And
That's your 4 aircraft?
yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
all 4. So
Excellent. Nice aircraft. Silver, what have you got? Anything similar?
Well, when I was building aircraft, I was thinking multi-role all the way. So all my aircraft are actually multi-role aircraft. I first started off with the F-15D Eagle because 1,000 kilogram bomb, pretty good, and like Vulcan said, it can defend itself with its missiles. I then got the Danish F-16 Block 5 with the 12 cluster bombs that it has to help take out tanks or any kind of vehicle sitting in like a tree line or something. That's a lot of cluster for a small area.
Okay, cool.
I also got the Phantom 2 as well, the 8 napalm. That is a very good choice. And then finally, I also got the FA-18C Hornet with its Maverick missiles. It also has the AIM-9M missile, anti-air missiles to defend itself as well. So it's kind of my thought, was just anything that could defend itself while doing its job is
Yeah.
what I was looking for.
Okay, and that's it.
Yep.
I've got kind of a mixture. I've got a seed aircraft, but I have gone for the what most people probably go for good or bad reasons. I've gone for the Raven. Yes, you only get one. You got to be careful with it, I suppose, and fly it kind of just a little bit closer and a little bit closer every time you put it out. But yeah, I've gone for that over the others.
oh yeah, the 60% ECM, most ECM in the game.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
most
a nice
people take it.
aircraft. You
Very
do
fast.
only get one, but if it does get shot down first time out, you're just going to be swearing for the rest of the game. Yeah.
It also has
Again,
incredible range.
Yeah, it is at the end of the day, it's a dice roll, isn't it? Sometimes I've seen this thing fire, seen people 4 missiles, 5 missiles, and it gets away. Sometimes I've seen 2 missiles and it gets shot down. So
I once saw one of these flies over the front lines and have something like 24 missiles fire at this thing, and not one of them hit. It was funny.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, it is a dice roll at the end of the day. I've also got the F-15D Eagle. Enough said about that. And the Phantom 2 Napalm Bomber. Enough said about that as well. However, I've also got the FA-18A Hornet as a kind of not too expensive anti-tank plane. We've had discussions about these before. So yeah, you could have them again, but I've gone for that anyway. It's pretty quick. It's got some ECM. It might get out after killing a big tank. Then I've got the
Just remember the F-18A those are semi-active missiles, whereas the Hornet is fire and forget. So you do have to kind of have it pointed direction until the missiles hit.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Yeah. I have also got the CF-18 Hornet as my kind of cluster bomber. Really. I don't know what you think about that, but I've gone for that as my cluster bomber. Mainly, it's got 30% ECM again. I've gone for all my planes. I've got decent ECM basically, so got to be used against kind of really high value targets. They're all worth a lot of money, so gotta be a little bit careful with them.
Comparing your cluster bomber Hornet to my F-16A Block 5, mine is actually a lot cheaper than the Hornet, and it has 4 cluster bombs. It just has 10% less ECM. And
I'm just finding it. The F-16, where is it? F-16A?
F-16A.
Block 5 it is.
Block 5.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to take your word for it.
It's also got a better turn radius, 350 turn radius than 400.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I've already cheated twice in this deck by swapping. I better not do it a third time.
Okay.
I'll keep this one. I'll keep this one.
The Hornet has more ECM anyway.
Yeah, I'm going for high ECM planes in this deck. I've got all high quality. I think I've got pretty much all high quality units in my deck. You know, Cobras, Super Cobras, Apaches, big end, high end tanks, apart from the stupid AMX. But I've now swapped out for the K1, of course. I think I've got pretty high end stuff in my deck.
In the meanwhile, I'm here puzzling over the Gazelle Celtics and the Super Cobra. Thank you very much, you guys. Feel terrible for this.
Well, do you know what? We do this decks just to have a discussion and try and work out what's good and what's not good. So don't feel guilty if you want to change them out.
Yeah, I'll change it out.
Yeah, change it out. Okay.
USA.
So I think the time has come to pick our favourite unit. Someone else can go first because I haven't decided yet. So I'm just flicking through now. Silver, you can go first.
No. I'm still trying to figure out myself.
Okay.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take the choice right out from every one of you, the F-15D Eagle. Ha.
Okay. Can have that one. Cool. I can go next if you want, but you're not allowed to choose the same one. So I'll go next. And I am going to go for the AH-64A Apache, I think, because it's one of the best helicopters in the game. I think. So
I'm actually kind of disappointed there's no British variant of this.
Yeah, so am I actually. That's weird. Yeah.
I don't know, it is like a classic American thing, isn't it, really?
I guess it is sort of the symbol of American air power, or helicopter.
But yeah, I'm definitely going for that one.
Yeah.
What have you got?
Yeah, those Hellfire missiles are beautiful. But for me, it's going to be the K1. This tank is like the pinnacle of value for money on BLUFOR.
It is. Yeah.
It's such a good tank for its cost. Like just the 60% accuracy, 17 armor, just really, really good for 85 points.
Yeah, I was actually tempted to choose this but I thought I'd better not because it was one of the ones I swapped out. I didn't have in the original deck, so I thought that would be a bit too
cheeky,
naughty
bit cheeky.
To choose that. Yeah, bit cheeky. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I think that's about it. So I think we're going to play a couple of games hopefully with these BLUFOR decks, and I'm really looking forward to it because we have kind of doing the individual nation decks. It's been a little bit of a struggle occasionally to get good units out onto the battlefield, but now we've got some decent units. We should make our lives maybe a little bit easier in game. I don't know. We'll
Definitely.
see. So, thanks guys for taking part in the video. Of course, do please check out Vulcan's channel, Vulcan HD Gaming. The link in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.